You're listening to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, created to help you succeed in your Security Plus certification journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional prepcasts, books, and training materials await. Let's get started. Actor attributes describe the qualities that shape how a threat actor operates. Key attributes include skill, which reflects technical proficiency in tradecraft; resources, which determine the scale and persistence of operations; intent, which drives the purpose of an attack; and targeting, which defines whether the actor chooses victims broadly or selectively. These attributes give defenders a framework for understanding the type of adversary they face, ranging from opportunistic amateurs to highly resourced nation-state groups. Capability metrics provide a more detailed measure of what an actor can actually accomplish. Common dimensions include tooling, or the quality and diversity of software and exploits used; time on target, reflecting how long an adversary can persist in an environment; and sophistication, which shows how advanced their techniques are compared to baseline cybercriminal activity. By studying capabilities, defenders can predict whether an actor is likely to rely on noisy, low-level attacks or stealthy, well-coordinated campaigns that require advanced monitoring to detect. Intent represents the underlying goal of the threat actor. For some, the objective is espionage, stealing intellectual property, sensitive data, or state secrets. For others, the motive may be disruption, targeting infrastructure or operations to undermine confidence or inflict damage. Financially motivated actors focus on profit, deploying ransomware, fraud schemes, or monetizing stolen information. Understanding intent is vital because it helps defenders anticipate which assets are most at risk and how persistent an attacker is likely to be in pursuing them. Targeting scope defines how an actor chooses victims. Opportunistic actors cast wide nets, exploiting whatever vulnerable systems they can find. Their targets are often random, dictated by exposure rather than strategic interest. Highly selective actors, on the other hand, identify and pursue specific organizations or individuals that align with their goals. Selective targeting is more resource-intensive but results in more damaging and focused attacks. Recognizing targeting scope helps defenders decide whether broad hygiene measures are sufficient or if targeted defenses are necessary. Resource indicators reveal the support structures behind an actor. Infrastructures such as dedicated command and control servers, redundant hosting environments, and global proxy networks show significant investment. Funding sources, whether state sponsorship, organized criminal proceeds, or self-financing, also shape how persistent and scalable operations can be. For defenders, recognizing resource indicators provides insight into whether an adversary is likely to sustain campaigns for weeks, months, or even years. Operational tempo and campaign duration also serve as markers of capability. Some actors operate quickly, seeking fast returns through short campaigns like smash-and-grab ransomware attacks. Others maintain long-term presence, conducting surveillance over months or years in search of valuable intelligence. Campaign duration reflects both intent and resourcing. Espionage actors can afford to play the long game, while profit-driven criminals often seek immediate payoffs. This tempo affects how defenders should structure monitoring and incident response. The choice between bespoke and commodity tools is another indicator of capability. Commodity tools, widely available malware, scripts, or penetration frameworks, are cheap and easy to deploy, but also easier to detect. Bespoke tools, custom-built for specific campaigns, require significant investment and technical skill, but are harder for defenders to recognize. The use of bespoke malware signals a high-capability actor likely willing to expend resources on stealth and persistence. Supply chain leverage has become a defining attribute that amplifies capability. By compromising a trusted vendor, service provider, or software update process, actors can bypass traditional defenses and access multiple targets at once. This tactic requires both patience and resources but enables massive scale with minimal effort once successful. Supply chain exploitation highlights the importance of trust relationships as both a strength and a vulnerability in modern networks. Persistence and reconnaissance depth also mark high capability. Persistent actors not only establish long-term access, but also invest heavily in learning about the target's environment, defenses, and behavior. Reconnaissance may involve mapping internal networks, identifying key personnel, or observing business processes before acting. The depth of reconnaissance correlates with precision in attacks, making them harder to anticipate and resist. Actor adaptability is the final measure of capability. Advanced actors alter their tools, infrastructure, and techniques as defenders respond. They may rotate command servers, rewrite malware, or switch tactics mid-operation to stay ahead of defenses. Adaptability ensures campaigns remain effective despite changes in the defensive environment. For defenders, adaptability requires continuous reassessment and flexible security controls. Altogether, attributes and capabilities serve as inputs to threat modeling. By mapping skill, resources, intent, targeting, and capabilities such as persistence or adaptability, organizations can anticipate likely adversary tactics and align defenses accordingly. This structured view transforms abstract threats into actionable intelligence, guiding both strategy and operational decisions in cybersecurity. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Defenders often map actor attributes to their likely TTPS tactics, techniques, and procedures. For example, actors with limited resources may depend on phishing kits and commodity malware, while advanced actors with strong funding may deploy custom exploits or supply chain compromises. Mapping attributes to TTPs allows defenders to anticipate how specific adversaries are most likely to operate, aligning defensive controls with realistic expectations rather than generic scenarios. Resource-rich actors can sustain long-term stealthy operations that drain an organization's resources. With infrastructure redundancy, dedicated operators, and funding for zero-day exploits, these actors maintain pressure over months or years. Their resourcing enables them to blend persistence with subtlety, making them harder to detect and dislodge. Recognizing when an adversary has this capacity helps organizations adjust incident response from short-term containment to long-haul resilience strategies. The sophistication of tooling strongly influences attack complexity. Simple malware may spread quickly but is often easier to detect with antivirus or endpoint defenses. Advanced malware families, by contrast, may include modular components, anti-analysis features, and stealthy communication protocols. The greater the sophistication, the more defenders must rely on layered detection strategies, behavior analytics, and continuous intelligence to identify attacks. Tooling sophistication reflects both skill and investment, making it a key marker of capability. Infrastructure such as command and control servers, hosting networks, and obfuscation techniques represents another pillar of capability. Well-managed infrastructure supports reliable communication with compromised systems while masking adversary origins. Some actors use disposable infrastructure, constantly rotating domains and IP addresses. Others build resilient networks that withstand takedown efforts. The presence of sophisticated infrastructure highlights the organizational maturity of the threat actor and the challenge defenders face in attribution and disruption. Timelines distinguish between opportunistic actors who launch rapid, one-off attacks and persistent adversaries who conduct long-running campaigns. Opportunistic attacks may last minutes or days, focusing on quick financial returns. Long-term campaigns may span months, featuring ongoing surveillance, stealthy data exfiltration, or repeated probing of defenses. Defenders must align monitoring with these timelines, ensuring short-lived bursts are caught quickly, while long-term campaigns are tracked for subtle patterns. Threat intelligence feeds help characterize actor capabilities by providing real-world examples of tools, infrastructure, and TTPs observed in ongoing campaigns. Intelligence contextualizes attributes with current data, enabling organizations to see whether they face low-level phishing waves or highly targeted espionage attempts. Feeds also reveal trends, such as the rise of ransomware groups adopting double extortion tactics, helping defenders stay aligned with adversary evolution. Advanced actors often use deception and false flags to obscure attribution. They may reuse code from other groups, route traffic through unexpected regions, or deliberately plant misleading artifacts. These tactics complicate investigation and highlight why certainty in attribution is rare. For defenders, awareness of false flags prevents overconfidence in assigning responsibility and reinforces the need to focus on defense rather than speculation. Detection and response must adjust based on expected actor capabilities. If an adversary is known to employ stealthy persistence, defenders should prioritize anomaly detection and endpoint visibility. If opportunistic actors dominate the threat landscape, patching and phishing defenses may take priority. Adjusting defenses ensures that scarce resources are directed where they will have the most meaningful impact against realistic threats. Prioritization is critical because not all actors pose equal risks to every organization. A local retailer is unlikely to be the focus of a nation-state espionage campaign but may be highly exposed to ransomware operators or payment card fraudsters. By assessing which actor types align with their sector, data, and exposure, organizations can determine which adversaries warrant immediate focus and which can be monitored at lower priority. Collaboration across teams is vital for assessing actor-related risk holistically. Security teams provide technical context, legal and compliance teams interpret regulatory impact, and business leaders assess strategic consequences. This cross-disciplinary approach ensures actor assessments are not siloed but integrated into enterprise risk management. By combining perspectives, organizations gain a clearer picture of how adversary attributes align with organizational vulnerabilities and objectives. Continuous reassessment is necessary because actor attributes evolve. Resource levels grow, tooling sophistication advances, and intent shifts as geopolitical or economic conditions change. A group that once relied on commodity malware may acquire new resources and pivot to targeted campaigns. Defenders must avoid static assumptions, revisiting threat models regularly to remain aligned with reality. In summary, attributes and capabilities form the foundation of informed defense planning. By analyzing skill, resources, intent, infrastructure, and adaptability, defenders can anticipate likely adversary behavior and tailor responses effectively. Mapping these qualities to TTPs, prioritizing based on risk, and reassessing as conditions evolve ensures defenses remain relevant. For learners, the lesson is clear. Understanding adversary attributes is not an abstract exercise. It is a practical method to shape resilient, proactive defense. Thanks for tuning in to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.